Yes?
Body posture.
Posture with your body. Yeah. What else? Nonverbal communication.
Voice, tone.
Your voice tone. Yes. What else?
Arms.
Arms. Your gestures. Yeah.
Feet pointing.
Your feet. Yeah. Where your feet are pointing. That's true. It doesn't make a difference.
The way you dress.
The way you dress. I know. Today.
The like warmth in your skin tone and dilation in your pupils.
Wow. That's biological. I like that. Yeah. Great.
Who knows, right? Like you might see
It's
it.
true. Like if you're sickly and pale, that does communicate something. That's really great. So there's so many things to nonverbal communication. You've just even touched the edge of it. Today we're here to talk about how you organize your thoughts. Because if you're clear about what you're going to say, not from the standpoint of, I'm going to say these words exactly, but you're clear about the organization of what you say, that's part of your nonverbal communication. We'll be working from the perspective that what you do not only is a thing, it's not only a product, but it also provides a result. Yes? It provides a result. Do you know what your product provides?
Sales.
Money?
Money?
Yeah. Well, I'm not asking, it's a sort of rhetorical question. Do you know that what you do provides a result, provides a benefit? Are you very clear on what it actually provides? These are words. What's that? Some useful things. Good, I'm glad. For me, I have always been expressive. I'm Italian, you can probably tell. Like I am. And that's why I went to theater school. It's natural for me to go study acting. But it was when I started my own business, and I'm no longer an actress playing a role, given a script. Now I am myself, speaking about what I do, what's closest to my heart, in very high-stakes situations. So when I say high-stakes situations, start to see yourself in this. What are your high-stakes situations? Like, I know that you have a big investor meeting at, what's the place called? Y Combinator tomorrow. Like, what's at stake there?
Just answer.
Please.
Getting accepted to the program and scaling our startup really rapidly.
Scaling your startup really rapidly. Anybody else something similar was at stake? Let me pause out of my story one here. Who here is a startup, basically? Have your own startup? That's almost everybody. That's probably 3/4. And then for the rest of you, do you work for a company? Okay, just a few in a company, and then who is everybody else? What do you guys do? You're speaking out of it. Yes?
For UCSF.
You work for UCSF. You're a teacher?
I'm a researcher.
Researcher, Oversharing. Okay, great. So for me, I go there, I go out in front of an audience to speak about what I do. Now everything is at stake. My rent is at stake. I've given everything I have to my business. And I stood up in front of my first audience. I thought, oh, well, I studied as an actress. I'll be fine. I can just improvise. I got up. The first thing that happened was looked out at the crowd, sort of like you guys, 100 or so people of my ideal clients, and I froze. Anybody else ever had an experience like that? Completely froze, blanked out, eyes blurred over, sweat went out of every pore, and my heart's racing. I got out a few words during that. It was a 3-minute talk that I had to give. I got a few words in that last minute to a minute and a half, but not a lot. And those words were like circling, but we're really getting to the point, to the concise, clear point that I meant to say. And I used to think at that time that templates and formulas and like systems of organizing my thoughts were boring, were like sort of robotic, right? And that if I didn't just speak off the cuff, or if I didn't plan every word out, that I wouldn't be as convincing. But then I worked with my entrepreneurial mentors, their name Mark Beauchamp, and I'll have a picture up there about them a little bit later. And what I found is that once I learned structures and systems, little formulas of how to organize my thoughts, then I could play within them. Then my authenticity could come out. and then my public speaking skills could really shine. Because I was saying to these guys over here in the comfy chairs, right before we started, was that when it comes to public speaking, it's about building relationships and rapport, and somebody is much more likely to buy your stuff if...
Be nice to them.
If they like you. If they like you. So you have to be able to speak as yourself, but then you also have to be really clear. So I realized that using structures and formulas allowed me to have much more connection to my audience, which I hope is what you're going to get out of today. Since then, actually I have a slide on this. Let's go forward. Oh, that's me. That's the training I did. That's me as a yoga teacher. This is me speaking on a bunch of stages. Here we go. This is that slide. Mark and Shannon are on the bottom. And just in the last few months, these are all the companies that I've gotten to work with.
Wow.
Helping them with their public speaking skills, organizing their thoughts, with their delivery skills, their business storytelling. And it's been a pleasure. You know, it's really fun to go in because all the people I work with, including all of you, are experts. You're an expert, right? Everybody here is an expert at what you do? Oh,
yes.
That's one mindset shift to start to have right away. I'm an expert at what I do. Can I hear that? I'm an expert.
Yes, I'm an
So
expert.
let's try it one more time. Ready, set?
I'm an expert
at what I do. Yes, you're an expert at what you do, and now it's time to communicate it in a way that other people see you and know you as an expert. Does that sound good? All right, let's get started. If you want to take notes, you're welcome to. We will be working on things where you'll need to write things down. So get that stuff ready now. Office, yeah, a bunch of little nods, and I get it. So we have to learn how to translate from your tech language into the language of, let's say, humans, of all the rest of the world, generally the people that are giving you money. So the other thing we need to be aware of is when it comes to creating content, what I often hear is that there's an overwhelm factor, yes? Yes. Like, how much time do you spend preparing your content? Just shout it out. How much time do you spend? Too much. How much time?
Days.
Days, yeah. Days. Weeks. Hours, yeah. Racking our brains. Should I say this? Should I say that? Yes? Is it just me?
No.
The overwhelm factor is huge when it comes to content. There's so much you could say. Because you know about this thing intimately. There's so much you could say. So what do you choose to say? And the answer is, we have to figure out how to be really simple. But to figure that out can be really overwhelming on your own. You can end up spinning like this. It overwhelmed for weeks. The last thing I'll say about that is I spend about 15 to 20 minutes planning any talk.
Wow, that's it.
That's it. Because I have structures like the one I'll teach you today. I don't take long to prepare any talk. It's simple, and then I show up in a good state of being, warmed up and prepared. The other challenge I often see is something like this little dude, poor guy, who's probably in a spelling bee or something, but we all have these memories, maybe from childhood, of like total terror when it comes to speaking in front of a group. Yes?
Yes.
Oh, come on. Really? If you've had that kind of experience, say yes.
Yes.
Okay. You're in it with a bunch of good people. It's very normal. Let's normalize it, because have you heard the number one fear in America is?
Public speaking.
And the number two fear is? Death. Who knows that Jerry Seinfeld quote?
Was that death? Was it Seinfeld?
Sometimes the funeral would rather be the one in the coffin rather than the one particular speech.
Yes. I mean, Jerry Seinfeld says it better than you or I, but he says something like, that means that if you're at a funeral, you'd rather be in the coffin than giving the eulogy. So let's normalize this as totally normal, and it can make it really hard, no matter how much preparation you've done around your content, to say what you meant to say, yes?
Yes.
How many times do you walk away from a talk and like, I said something completely different than I planned to say? Oh my God. Okay, so that's worth acknowledging that there's a lot of fear. But why is all this happening? It's an important question to ask. Well, this poor dude, doesn't have a map to get where he wants to go. Yeah? He's lost. And that's why I think all those things that we talked about just now, those challenges tend to happen, is that we don't have a clear map of how to get from where you are in your language and with your fears around public speaking, which are totally normal, to the other person's mind. Because let's face it, what public speaking is taking an idea or a belief or an experience from my mind, and somehow I have to take it from here and plant it into your mind. Right? A way to simplify it. It's a translation from my experience, my language, into your mind and your language, your lens of the world. So we have to have a map and an organization of how to get there. However, often when I see people organize their thoughts, and if they do it on their own, it ends up something like this, very complicated. And it is organized, but maybe only in a way that you could understand it. Yeah. And that's because you're too smart for your own good. You're smarty pants. You know you are. And like I said, you're all experts. You're all experts at what you do. And so again, we have to learn how to translate from your language into the language that your audience speaks. Would you like to know how to do that?
Yes.
Do you feel sold? Are you enrolled? Are you totally enrolled right now? You want to know how to do that?
Hell yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't think you're quite enrolled enough. So would you like to learn how to organize your thoughts in a way that your audience walks away saying, I have to have that? Say yes.
Yes.
All right, now we're ready. Okay. What actually works to organize your thoughts? Well, it has to be a structure, right? We've already learned it has to be a structure that you learn, a template, a system, something like that. But it has to be flexible. It can't be this rigid thing that puts you in to feel like you're in a box, and it doesn't feel human when you speak it, or you can't find your own way of connecting with it. And it has to be flexible to the situation, to the people in front of you, right? So let's get started with actual structure. This is where you might want to take notes. The first section of a good pitch, an enrolling pitch, is that you illuminate the problem that you solve. Now that assumes that you have an understanding of who your product, your service, whatever is for, yes? Now as I go through this structure, there might be a moment that you say, well, that's really simple. It's too simple, like it's too obvious. Or I've learned this before. And I'm going to challenge you to stay open-minded, because if you can learn to communicate in this simple way about what you do that is very complex and you know about on a deep level, that's when other people can actually really receive it. So if you can learn how to communicate clearly about the problem, what is the problem that your thing solves? Let's have an example. Who can share about their product? Raise your hand and share about your product. Yes.
We have a dating app that solves the problem of the pain of back and forth messaging, and it sets the users up right away for real life dates.
Okay, great. So she already skipped to the solution. Fantastic. So the problem is, again, say?
That people get stuck in back and forth messaging and never even end up meeting
Never
up.
meeting up. Yeah, getting stuck in that back and back messaging. What is that like for people?
It's frustrating
Yeah.
and wastes their time.
Waste their time. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. That's really clear. Let's do one more. Who else has any? Yes, go ahead.
Governments have the problem of providing food security for their people.
Food security. Okay, great. Now translate it into something that if you were talking to a 5-year-old right here, they would understand.
Simple's hard.
When you're hungry, you need to eat.
Yes! That was a fantastic translation. If you're hungry, you need to eat. Okay, now connect it with the government, something about the government. And
It's very hard to get farmers to grow food when growing food doesn't provide enough food for them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. So sometimes it's complex to find the actual problem. And there might be multiple problems. I talked about 3 or 4 problems today that I see in entrepreneurs when it comes to pitching. Hint, my talk today uses this structure. Okay, so we can think back to the things we talked about. So the problem could be multifaceted. We'll pause there because you'll have time to brainstorm a little bit later. One more example of what you do in the problem. Yes, Greg.
I think that what I'm doing is similar to what you are doing. Usually when we are talking about the software, it's either powerful and complicated or flexible,
Ah, okay.
one or another.
So what is the problem that they have, that they're up at night worried about?
But there is no way to connect both complex and flexible. And that's what I'm doing.
Okay, so they are worried about what?
For example, if you have huge backend database with hundreds of data,
Yeah.
they all consist of some data.
So really the problem we're getting at is overwhelm of data. Too much
Exactly.
data, don't know how to organize it, and they're pulling their hair out, trying to figure it out, spending way too much money, way too much time.
If they organize it, but how to use it if it's so complicated that
Yeah.
it's not observable?
Yes, too complicated, too overwhelming. Very good.
It has
good.
to be very more flexible.
Okay, so that's the solution, right? We're talking about the problem now. The problem is the overwhelm and the complexity.
Exactly.
Fantastic. You're starting to get a sense of this? We're separating out a bunch of information that you already know is already in there into clear little boxes. The first box is what is the problem that your customer or client is lying in bed at night worried about over and over, okay? And it's in their language. Has anybody here ever done market research for their clients? About half the room. I do recommend that. It's a really important step to building a business. That's beyond the scope of today's workshop, but it's a good step to have the language that your clients are thinking and speaking in. For example, when I was starting my business, I probably would have said, my clients, sometimes they're awkward up on stage. They feel uncomfortable. I would have used the word awkward. But then when I spoke to my clients, what they said was, I feel uncomfortable in my own skin. Now it's similar, it's awkward and uncomfortable in my own skin, but using their language will speak to the people that I particularly want to reach. You with me on this? Make sense? Okay. So let's get number 1, the problem. And then we need to illuminate the cause. Why is this problem happening? Now, there may be many reasons why it's happening, and there may be many well-known reasons why it's happening, like things that people already know about. But you understand the problem in a unique way because you're so immersed in it, because you've experienced it yourself, right? So illuminating the cause of the problem clearly makes you an expert. You start to be seen as an expert because you understand it in a way that maybe doesn't exist in the marketplace. So let's go back to my dating helper,
Yes.
Miss Mohammed.
Oh, sorry.
I can see it. Miss Eve?
Eve, yes.
Thank you. So your problem is, can you say it again?
Problem is wasted time and energy on in-app texting in dating apps.
Right, and never getting to meet up. That's a big one. Yeah. And why?
To be clear, this will sort of lead to one of my questions. It's never getting to meet up or disappointed expectations when you do meet up.
Perfect.
It could be either one.
That's great. So why do you think that's happening?
Because,
Your expert opinion.
in my expert opinion, dating app technology points people in that direction, facilitates that kind of behavior instead of facilitating meeting up.
Right. Okay. So the app itself, or the platform itself.
Yeah, the whole way
Yeah.
they're designed.
The design.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. That's a unique perspective on online dating. Because a lot of people would say, oh, you need to text this way, or you need to use this kind of language, or change your pictures and change your profile. But you're like, no. Let's back this thing up and look at the profile, or sorry, the platform in the first place. That's a really unique perspective. And if she starts sharing that with a clear understanding of her client's problem, then she starts to be seen as the expert in what she does and a thought leader, really. What was the word that I used as you were coming in today? I said you're going to be come to the front row, you're a trendsetter. Exactly. You become a trendsetter because you see the problem in a new way. And don't we all in San Francisco want to be the trendsetters in the innovative ones?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, everybody in the back is like, yeah, I'll just get by. No, yes, go ahead.
I have a question that kind of backtracks to the previous slide. What if you're solving like a systemic problem? Or what if you're helping a big institution solve a consumer problem?
Yes.
And you mentioned, how are you solving your client's problem? So should that be the definition? So I'll just zoom up and, hi Eve.
Hey.
Oh, hi.
So the systemic problem is climate change.
Yes.
Okay, and so it's like what's causing climate change? The industrial processes of making goods and services is 9 times the impact.
Yes.
But we all focus on like what energy is going to this building, how we use things. So we're trying to unlock supply chain, like manufacturing. So it's like, okay, we should focus on procurement. So that's like, this is a big problem. And then the middle problem is like, okay, like banks or credit cards, people can't incentivize everyday people to pay the green premium to buy green products.
So let me just pause you right there. There's a lot of levels to her problem, right? And understanding all the way up to global warming and all the way down to how that impacts the day-to-day life of whoever it is, of the consumer, like you said, is an important understanding for anyone that hears about your product to get. Now, your work is to be able to say that as concisely and clearly as possible. And it might even be something like what you sort of just did, which was like, there's this level, and then this level, and then this level, and then this level. There might be ways to break it down into big chunks.
Say all of them.
I'd have to ask more questions to be completely sure, but I would say yes. But a good thing is to think about your audience. And what do they need to hear in order to understand your unique perspective about why something's happening? What piece of the problem do they need to hear in order to understand your
How it helps them? How it saves them money or time, or finding the value of the utility. What's in it for me?
That's a great public speaking perspective in general. I was thinking about in terms of your audience, what's in it for them? Because you're using their language, right? Not your own. Okay, let's hop on to the next and last part of the structure here, which is your solution. Your unique solution. And you might say, oh, I've got this part down. I have the name of my solution. I've worked on my little what do you do statement, little pitch thing. But again, here it needs to be in the language that your audience thinks in, feels in, right? And similar to what you were saying, Ben, was it has to have a value add to the audience that they're aware of that they need. It's not like in the background, like maybe someday I'll need this, or things get bad enough. It's like immediate thing that they're aware of that they need. It solves their problem. And you can, and this is also where you show a unique solution. So back to Eve, for your solution, what's unique about it that solves this problem in a different way than it has ever been solved before?
Sure. Our app eliminates the messaging platform altogether and replaces it with a system that schedules and curates real-life dates instead.
Cool. That's really cool. So she just enrolled me in her app, or whatever it is, because she was able to articulate clearly what the solution did that was unique from others in the marketplace, right? And it was very grounded in terms of what that would be like for me as a user day to day. Now, you might not be talking about your users. It depends on who your audience is. You also might be talking about your investors and what they're going to get out of it. What your solution provides to your users, i.e. then what it provides to your investors. So there might be several different layers of this as well. Let's go back and just review these 3 parts. It might seem deceptively simple, but I promise if you can hone in on these clear things in this order, your audience will be much more enrolled. So you need to first illuminate your problem, the problem that you solve, the problem that your audience, your customers and clients are aware of on the top of their mind. They're up worrying about it at night. And then you're gonna illuminate why you believe that's happening. Your unique perspective from your expert point of view, right? And all your experience. And then you're gonna share about your solution and why it's different from the other things that are out there. Questions, thoughts? Yes?
Yeah. Generally speaking, in terms of the delivery, do you recommend like writing a script and memorizing the script?
Great,
and sticking
thank
to
you.
it, or more
Memorizing the
structure and then doing it naturally, which I personally tend to prefer. But,
Yeah, so never write a script.
Never write a
That's
script.
my, I mean, even for a 2-minute thing,
yeah.
improvisation is the key to sounding like yourself. So when it comes to actually organizing your thoughts, which you're going to do in a moment, it's going to be in bullet points and little details that you want to make sure to get in there. And it's going to be a matter of memorizing and understanding of this structure on a deep level, on like a muscle memory level. So that the memorization you're doing is this, not the exact words necessarily. One moment, when I was in theater school studying acting, they gave me a script, and my job as an actress was to bring it to life as if it was happening right then. Now, I trained for years and years and years to do that. It's a skill. That's why you go to school for it. It's hard. I don't recommend that you try to do that. Try to bring a script to life. It's actually quite hard, and you'll probably end up sounding a little robotic. So that's why it's much more accessible for people like us, entrepreneurs, to speak with our own voice within a clear structure. Eve.
Can I offer an addition to what you said?
Okay, to which part?
I agree that if you're in a room of people,
Yeah.
like such as this, you don't want to have a perfect script. But if you're in an accelerator, one of these situations where you're on stage and it's
Yes.
pitch day
It's timed.
and there's no participation,
Yes.
it's timed, I believe that having a script is absolutely the way to go. You come across way more compelling.
Okay, thanks for sharing, Eve. That's a totally valid perspective, and I'll totally challenge you, because if you have 2 minutes and you're there in front of an audience, it's not engagement. That's actually a great opportunity to let yourself speak, and you should practice a lot. You should practice speaking out loud and having a timer, and you should practice getting good at improvisation. But you're going to be seen as much more of a leader, a thought leader, and much more human if you can and just speak. Yeah.
There's a definition of practice, from a beginner standpoint of pitching to, going all the way to TED Talks or something like that. How much time, I guess the time and what type of practice you should be doing, or the pace of practicing your pitch, whether it's a 2-minute pitch, a 5-minute pitch, or you're pitching 30 minutes to your job for a promotion.
Yeah. Thank you. It's going to depend on the person, their comfort level with improvisation. It's going to depend on the length of time for your talk. But that actually leads me very nicely into the next thing. Oh, I want to come back to that in a second and hop over to this. So when it comes to speaking, you already heard about that nonverbal communication is really the key to being received in the way that you want to be able to train and hone your nonverbal communication. So what I recommend when you're preparing for your talk is that you have a speaker's warm-up routine.
Wow.
That is training and warming up your nonverbal communication, as in your body, your voice, your mind, your state of being, like your energetic state. And you're getting that warmed up, and then you rely on the structure for the actual content. Now, I don't want to jump too far ahead. We're going to dive into the actual creation of your pitch now. So take out a piece of paper or computer or something. Yeah.
Can I go to an example or a team?
Yeah, we're gonna do that in a little bit. I'm gonna just speak to his. Okay. So it's your turn to get a sense of your content, and then we're gonna do a warm up, and then we're gonna speak it. So I'm gonna give you like 3 to 4 minutes to write out some details here. Think of this as a first draft. Think of this as an improv exercise in a way. And focus more on the structure than on getting the words exactly right. So write down number 1 on whatever you're writing on. Who's your audience? Who will you actually be giving this pitch to? You'll be calibrating your choices based on that. And there might be many different situations that you might create your pitch in, but just pick one for today. Pick one. Once you've got that, you're going to write down who's your client or your customer. And if there's different levels of that, you can also write that down. And I think you guys are all just rolling with it, but if you get it by now, you're going to write down what's their problem, their top of mind problems, why, in your expert opinion, do you think that's happening, and what's the unique solution. And if there's a call to action, you put that there as well. So I'm going to put on just a little bit of music, and we'll have 3 to 4 minutes to brainstorm. Call me over if you have any questions. Yeah, it's harder, actually. That's why About 2 more minutes. Oh, one more minute. Clarify your ideas as simply as possible. How's this going?
Good.
Coming easily? Feeling like you're reaching for things that aren't quite there? How does it feel?
One of the differences, what's the difference between audience and client? I see
It
them.
might be the same, it might be different. It's a good question. Yeah. Sometimes you're speaking, for example, sometimes you're speaking to investors, but your clients are someone else.
If you speak to investors, what is the call to action? I mean, what you ask?
It might be taking all your money. Sign this check, yeah.
Sign this check, okay.
Yeah, or it could be something else. Yeah.
Isn't the call to action going to be to your, for example, your audience, your investors, or can it be also your customers? Like by using our platform, you'll be do this.
Put that in the solution section, and the call to action would be separate about like what's our next step from there. Reporter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's straightforward. Just move on.
Yep.
So if you can get it out pretty quickly.
Right. It can be short and sweet. Great. What else? What else is working well about the structure?
Less is more.
Less is more.
Clarity.
Clarity. You feel clear.
Yeah, you know who you're talking to. It's very explicit.
Explicit. Great.
Continuity, I think it flows really well.
Yeah. Awesome. The flow. Yeah.
I think it has even additional benefits than pitching your customer. It helps clarify your strategy for yourself when you understand what it is your difference is from the competition and why someone might buy it, and it might change the way you operate by having that clarity.
That's great. You're taking the perspective of the customer. It's great.
Simplicity.
Simplicity. I think there was one more over here. Yes.
It's logical.
Logical. Yeah. Makes sense. Great. And then what are the challenges that are coming out of the confusion, the questions about this as you work on it? Okay. Yes.
So I don't, maybe if you include it in your unique solution, people may ask you, how is it different than such and such? So,
Yes.
so that I've been using this other format called a one sentence pitch, which is part of it is we're different than such and such, our top competitor because, so maybe something like that would be useful.
Yeah, that could be a good refinement here. Yeah, you might need to, because I often hear in what do you do statements or pitches is something like, we're like XYZ, but yeah. So that's a great clarification. Yeah.
I was tying into that. How much, when you're defining your problem, do you define it in terms of competition as opposed to defining it in terms of what customers need?
Yeah, I would just say get to the human stuff.
Get
the
to
stuff
the human
that's
stuff.
as grounded and basic as it can be. Because things that people are dealing with is they're not making enough money, they don't have enough time, they're overwhelmed, they're frustrated, they're sad, they're lonely, they're struggling. And I'm serious, like make it human. Because then everyone will understand it and it's an immediate hook. They can always talk to you about more details later, but you have to get them interested first. Yeah.
So I communicated how it works. In the solution space, I communicated how it works, and kind of like the emotional feeling you'll have thanks to that. But I got feedback that what was missing was like what it'll do for them.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like actually. Because we don't care how it works until later, necessarily.
Yeah. So I talked about like how you'll feel afterwards. That's part of what it'll do for you.
Yeah, that's almost too far ahead too. Like what the solution is. Like your solution was really clear. If you could share that again. The solution is
eliminate the messaging platform and deliver the system that curates states for you right away.
Yeah, and then I would also get to the future casting a little bit of you'll be able to have more dates each week and meet your ideal partner in much less time.
Right.
So it's getting it's
so that
yeah, in a way, it's a so that, yeah. Because the feeling-oriented thing gets vague. We want to be a little more grounded. Good refinement, yeah.
Call to action, just a sentence, two sentences, or?
It depends on what you need. Because it could be a full-on offer, and that's a separate workshop, how to do offers from the stage. But this is just about leading. This workshop is really about setting up the feeling of it being enrolling.
Okay.
That whatever call to action you make, they're bought in before you even get there.
So you should stick to one theme of an action, not multiple ones. Just
Yeah, keep it simple, right? Yeah. Okay, so what we just worked on, let's see. What we just worked on is pretty simple and sweet, like you guys saw. It could be a short little pitch, but what if you want to make it a longer thing? Yeah. Sometimes we need to take it could be a 30-second pitch or a 2-minute pitch and make it into a 30-minute presentation, an hour-long presentation. This happens a lot, right? So the way that you do that is by adding supporting evidence. I like this little quote. Can you vouch for that? Supporting evidence, some examples are statistics, quotes, even more logic, really reasoning with your audience, giving examples, doing demonstrations, exercises, giving tips and tools. These are all parts of supporting evidence. And I'm sure you have this stuff up the wazoo. You have this stuff, right? Or you could do a little bit of research and have this stuff. And basically in your problem section, you're going to have a certain amount of supporting evidence to fill in the time and the space. And it supports that first point, that statement that you made about what the problem is for your client or customer. And then same thing with the cause section, you'll state the cause and give supporting evidence about the cause and state the solution and give supporting evidence about that as well. Makes sense? And I call it the accordion effect, that it can be very small, right, or it can be very long. This could be a 3-day workshop, problem, cause, solution. Each spend a day on the problem, a day on the cause, and a day on the solution, and the people in your audience will really get it on a visceral level, and you'll be able to organize your thoughts. Yeah.
The demo, if you have a live demo of the technology,
Yes.
when do you suggest to?
That would be in the solution section.
solution.
In
The last section.
in the call to action.
That would be in the solution section.
So do you weight the solution less?
Guy, did that make sense to you?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, you're good.
Yep.
It's better.
Thank you.
Do you weight the problem more than the solution?
Thank you. So generally, the sections will be about equal. Now, sometimes the solution section, so like today, was a little longer because I took you through those 3-step process. We did more exercises, but they were there was the same amount of content in each section, and then we went into exercises based on the solution.
So it's kind of like storytelling. And when you illuminate the problem, it's kind of like attention getter.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely hooking people.
Right?
Yeah, I think that's really true.
And you can hook them with the stats in the beginning, if it's part of the problem.
Well, yeah, there's statistics that support the understanding of the problem. That would be really, really helpful. But the same thing is, you might have statistics about your solution and how it really improves things. How in the past with other past customers, 500% increase, this much more profit, who knows what it is. And in the cause section, you might have some statistics too. I could see it working in all 3 sections. Questions about supporting evidence? Anything else? Okay. So now we're going to get out of our heads and into our warm-up. You guys ready to get up? Get ready for some speaking?
Yeah.
Please put your notebooks or computers, phones, everything on your chair. Stand up, and we'll move into as much of a circle around the room as we can. Now we're going to do this quickly, so please stand up, and if you can hear me, clap once. Hear me clap twice. You have 10 seconds to get to the side of the room. Begin. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and now space out. There's lots of room over here. Space out. space out, space out. Come on,
That's
guys,
great.
move that way, move that way, move that way.
Space out.
Space out. That's good. Fill in the space, spread out, spread out. Fantastic. Now the reason I even do that, to like give you 10 seconds to get up and move, is because one of
That
the
feels
first
good.
things that's really important as a speaker is to have energy. You can't be getting up. It's your turn to talk and you're like, no, that doesn't work. You need to be getting up from your seat with energy all right away. You are ready to be interesting, right? To be the most interesting thing in the room. Okay, let's get our energy up. Anybody heard of power poses?
Power poses?
Everybody knows power poses these days. The question is, do you do them?
No.
Yeah, most of us don't do them. So let's do them right now. Victory pose, hands up. You might just space, like sort of stagger out. Yeah, and you can have your hands in fists. You can have your hands open wide. You can have your hands like a rock star. Yeah. This is like Bon Jovi version, right? Oh my God. Imagine you're in front of a crowd of raving fans. Yes. Raise your chest, raise your chin. And now we're going to add in some power phrases. Repeat after me with your fullest voice and your highest energy. Deep breath in. I am confident.
I am confident.
I've got this.
I've got this.
I am going to rock my pitch.
I'm going to rock my pitch.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Yes. I just got warm in here. What's different after just 30 seconds?
Energy.
Energy. What else?
You're pumped up.
What'd you say?
Blood flow.
Blood flow, oxygen. Everyone is nervous.
Done.
Yeah, lots more smiles, a lot brighter eyes in the room. Okay. Now we got our energy up a little bit. If you crossed your arms already, let them drop. Keep that energy up. Bring your feet right underneath your hips. Now let's calm it down. Let's relax your nervous system. Hands relaxed by your sides. Turn your eyes downwards towards the floor. Focus on yourself and focus on your breath. Are you breathing?
Yeah.
And take a deeper breath. Let's all breathe together. Exhale. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Inhale for 4, 2, 1. I skipped 3. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Last breath. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Look up, look around, reconnect with the room, with the real world, with the outside world. Catch somebody's eyes, smile at them. Yeah. So that's that transition from tech world. What's your breath like when you're in tech world?
Shallow.
Yeah, your energy gets low. Yeah, chest gets, So connect with somebody with your deep breath. Go ahead and stand up a little taller. Inhale your shoulders up to your ears, squeeze, 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 and exhale, drop them down. Keep looking around, open your eyes wider. Lift your chest a little higher. Some people's chests have collapsed again. Power pose chest. Nice, really proud. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. We're going to play a little game.
Uh-oh.
We're going to play just one game to warm up our public speaking muscles. This is called the Zip Zap Zop game. Anybody played this game before?
Zip Zap?
Oh, just 1, 2, 3. Okay, just a few. Now it's going to be particularly challenging with a big group. You guys are going to have to be really on it. So there are 2 parts of this game, the physical and the vocal part, just like our public speaking, right? We have the physical nonverbal communication and the vocal nonverbal communication. So practice the physical with me now. It's a clap and send with a straight arm across the circle. Clap and send with a straight arm. Clap and send with a straight arm. Now add about 10% higher energy. Get your knees bent. It's like you're on a tennis court, right? Yeah, she's got it. Clap and send. All right, now add your eye contact. Look somebody in the eye. Clap and send to them. Yeah, okay. Really good. That's the physical part. Now practice the vocal part with me. Really clear enunciation. Zip, zap, zop.
Zip, zap, zap.
Get those P's. They're explosive. Try that.
Zip, zap, zap. Zip, zap, zap.
Yes, okay, that's your structure, right? I said you're gonna memorize your structure.
Yeah.
Zip, zap, zop is your structure, so memorize that order that it goes in. How it works when we put these two together is I would send zip to one person, she would send zap to another, and zop, and it goes zipping and zapping and zopping around the circle as fast as we can. Now there's only one going at one time, so you have to be really aware, because who knows where it's gonna go, right? And your eyes have to be really ready, because we have a lot of people. Who knows if they're looking at you, the person next to you? The last thing I'll say before we dive in is we're like jugglers. Anybody here is a juggler? Anybody?
Juggle.
Just a little bit, okay. Don't worry, it's not required for this game. But we're like jugglers, we have to keep the balls up in the air, right? Keep the momentum going. So if the zip zap zop drops somewhere, just pick it up and keep going. Be in charge of keeping the momentum up. You with me on that?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, get ready. Hands ready. Bend your knees. Make sure you can see, have your eyes open. Zip.
Zap.
Zip.
Zap.
Zap.
Where's this going to?
Zap. Zap. Zap.
Don't sit up.
Zip. Zap. Zap. Zip. Zap. Zip. Zap.
Zip.
Somebody go. Come here over here. Good.
Zap.
Zip.
Zap. Zap.
Zip. Stay ready, stay ready. Zip.
Zap.
Zap. Zip.
Zap.
Zap. Zip.
Zap.
Zip. Zap, zap.
Okay. Zip. Okay, good. So we have a lot of people here, right? And there's who here has not received a zip or a zap or zap yet? Okay, great. This is a really good public speaking teaching point. So I've looked everybody here in the eye at some point. I'm pretty sure. I've made a point of it. Yeah. So get good at seeing everybody and making sure that everybody is taken care of. So if you know that somebody hasn't received a zip zap zap yet, it's your responsibility to make sure they get it. Spread the love, guys, spread the love. Hands ready, eyes ready, legs ready. Zip.
Zap.
Zap.
Zip.
Zap.
Zap. Zip.
Zap.
Zip.
Zap.
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 Zip.
Zap.
Zip.
Zip.
Zap.
Zap.
Zip.
Zap.
Zap. Zip. Zip.
Zap. Zap.
Zip.
Zap.
Zap. Zip.
Zap.
Zap.
Zip.
Zap. Zap.
Zip. Zap.
Zip. Zap.
Zap.
Zip.
Zap.
Zip.
Zap.
Zap.
Zip.
Zap. Zap. Zip. Zap.
Zap.
Zip.
Zap.
Zap.
Zip. Zap.
Zap.
Zip.
Zap.
Zap.
Zip.
Zap. Zap.
Zip. Zap.
Zap.
Zip.
Zup.
Zap.
Zip.
Zap.
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 What were the challenges that came up in this game?
Focus.
Focus, you stay focused. Yeah, what else?
Command the audience.
Remember
Command the audience. Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Remember the.
Remember the order that things go in. Totally. We screwed up a bunch of times. We just kept going. Yes.
I think there, at some points, there's more focus on where to go rather than the energy. So like
Yes.
forgetting to clap, forgetting to.
Yes. So having energy at the same time that you're really clear. Yeah, these are things that take training and practice and engagement with, and you guys did a great job of taking an initial step today. It's a lot of people to try to play this game with. I don't think I've ever played with this many people, but you did a great job of being clear. We didn't drop the balls too many times. So take this understanding that you now have of energy, of clarity, especially with your eye language, your body language, with strength with your voice, clear enunciation, all into your speaking. And notice already some people are starting to lean back onto the wall, they're crossing their arms. Like, I'm done with this whole public speaking thing. So can you build your stamina and be able to hold the high energy that's necessary as a speaker? That's why we stayed standing all this time. Okay, so we're gonna, with the same high energy, go back to our seats in a moment. And then I'm going to start calling 2 or 3 people up to speak. So as you go back in those high energy 10 seconds, think about, is it me? Is it me that's meant to speak today?
Oh no.
Get ready. Back to your seat in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Warmed up? Raise your hand if it's you that's meant to speak today. Some stragglers coming in there again. Keep your hand up if you're really committed. We can do 2 people. So the first person that raised their hand was my lovely lady in the back. What's your name? Jackie. Jackie, thank you. And the second person that raised their hand was? Taboos. Fantastic. So those will be our 2 speakers today. There will be time for question and answer later, and you're going to learn a lot from each other. So stay here and stay engaged. Please help me welcome our next speaker to the stage, Jackie.
Sorry. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. How are you guys doing today? Yeah, awesome. I've been here since 9:30, and I've really learned so much. This is like a little mini graduation. But yeah, nice to meet you. My name's Jackie. I've brought a bunch of cards that maybe you guys can stay tuned with me if you care about what I say.
Listen, Jackie,
Okay, so the problem that I'm trying to solve, does anyone here skateboard or board or anything along those lines? A couple people within my market. Specifically, I think that the skateboarding category is it's kind of a rebellious culture, very edgy culture, not really any rules. And so originally when I had this idea, I didn't really think that I had an opening for the market, because whether or not it was a good product, if they're not going to buy it, they're not going to make the effort to go for it, then it doesn't even matter. And later on I started to realize, like, everybody is doing this electric skateboard thing, and a whole new market opened up for me, all the techies and anyone who wants to use transportation in that way. It totally changes the sport. And the problem that I'm trying to solve is the inevitable issue of getting hurt. Any extreme sports, you are, that's just part of the game. And I have tons of scars, can never take them back. And I want to continue doing the sport like anyone else. And so I want to find a solution. And my personal solution is within why people don't wear pads. You know, people don't. There is a solution, but nobody uses it. You know, pads are really bulky. They're really dorky. Like you gotta mess them. Just another thing to carry. You going to work. You don't want a whole handful of extra things you have to carry. So picture this. Imagine you can wear this blazer, and it will provide protection for you. You know, my product aims to have discreet and comfortable padding that is also incorporated in your outfit. So I want to appeal to specifically, like I said, these techies, people that I imagine in San Francisco going to work. You know, they need to be dressed up, but they don't want to change out, or you know, more simple. You know, if you have money for an electric skateboard, or I guess, or just open to an idea involved with protection. You know, sweaters, pants, and all the different problem areas. Also included would be different features like reflective designs, you know, and it doesn't have to be dorky. What if you have like a logo and it's shining, you know, shining in the right spots? So that's kind of like the concept that I want to get across. An idea that I want to be able to, you know, because manufacturing is kind of like a problem for me because I'm new in this. I was really hoping and thinking, and maybe you guys have answered for me. I've been trying to find out all day. But I would love to be able to produce this through thrifted clothing. So, you know, going through San Francisco and picking up a bunch of items for all different types of people, all different types of occasions, and using, I guess, my padding and everything and incorporate it in that so it can always be rotated. But I don't know what the legal details are on that. Like, can I take someone else's product and manipulate it and resell it? I don't know, but either way, my concept is the portable padding.
Thank you, Jackie. How was it for you to get up in front of the room and speak?
It's definitely a lot better when it's something you know about, but you do start to have like the what's it called? Like you just start to get flustered. Like I started to hear my voice like shake, and I'm like not even nervous. So like, it's like kind of weird. Like,
let's hear 2 pieces of feedback of what you really liked about her. Just what you really liked. Affirm her for what worked well. Yes.
I liked her interaction with the audience.
Yeah.
She asked her, how are you doing today? How's it going? That's good. Just good interaction. I love that.
I like that you seem to really know the problem. Like, this is your life. You get it.
I'm an expert. Yeah.
The energy when she speaks, yeah, it's really full of energy.
Thank you. Yeah. I have a loud voice. I can finally use it for something good.
Yeah. One more.
I like the fact that you let us know that she was a victim of the problem she's trying to solve, and she has scars and so on.
I got some big scars.
Yeah. First of all, Jackie, thank you so much for being our guinea pig and putting yourself out there. And so what I really loved is the clarification of the problem. Like I really understood what that was, and I understood why it was happening to you. You used the structure really well. I understood what your solution did, and I was like, if I had that problem, I would be interested. And specifically, if it was, I don't know if this is your target market, if I was a woman that wanted to be stylish and to have protective clothing, so that's what I wanted to throw in there if you're really clear on who your customer, client, and audience is. Because I imagine there's people that really care about style.
Definitely has to be stylish because it's a big problem. You know, boarding in general is pretty swaggy, so you gotta like, you gotta look good while you do it. So
I love your attitude. Your personality is so cool. Okay, so some things for next steps is go ahead and come forward. Always forward. There she goes. What's different about her up there?
Much better.
Yeah, not that far.
Temperature.
Temperature comes up. Now you're in charge. Go back to where you were before.
Look smaller.
Yeah, you look far away.
Yeah.
Come forward again.
It's like cropping my photo.
Yeah, and so today's workshop is not fully about nonverbal communication. That's like a whole other workshop about how to be more credible and authoritative with your nonverbals. I'm just throwing in a few things. But in terms of the structure, you used it really well, but you just needed to start with it faster. I looked at my timer. It took you almost a minute to start talking about the problem.
Oh, wow.
There was a lot of other stuff set up, and it's really common with speaking. We want to sort of ease our way in and more comfortable just starting. So what if you just started skateboarders often get hurt. For example, I have 22 scars all over my body. I don't know. So you just dive in from the first words that come out of your mouth. Can you try that? We're going to do 20 to 30 seconds. Just the problem section.
Problem.
Okay, so we're going to give you a round of applause, and the first words out of your mouth are going to be the problem. Got it? Okay. Let's give everybody a round of applause.
As you may know, San Francisco is a skateboarding mecca, but inevitably, I'm sure every single skateboarder has gotten hurt or has scars on their body, like myself. And then maybe I would show, I got a scar right there, the shape of an L. But, so, since it's an inevitable problem, the solution that I propose
Cause first, what's the cause?
The cause, sorry.
Why are you getting scars?
Oh, why? Because it's inevitable?
Because they're not using protection because...
It's not
Okay. So although there's a proposed solution, it doesn't work because it's unfashionable, it's bulky, it's annoying to carry. So my product suggests a solution that is very stylish and
there you go.
Totally easy to take on and off because it's just as simple as a normal piece of clothing. Just as discreet.
That's awesome. Much better. Much better.
Simple, and then you just add in supporting evidence to each of those three parts. Good job, Jen.
Awesome.
Very
It showed up better, even better on the camera. That's good.
Please help me welcome our next speaker.
They pass them around.
Hi everyone. Easy question. Anybody here have a company? Anybody here have a brand? Yeah, right? So if you have a company, you have a brand, you want to reach your customers, you want to reach your audience. Now, if you do it through traditional methods, normal advertising, it'd be a nice little ad going right here. Wouldn't really get your attention, would it? Now, how are you going to engage with your clients in a new way through a new medium that will get people with short attention spans boredom? Really, there's so much fighting, so much noise out there. Everybody wants your client's attention, and you're one of those, right? You want their attention, you want them to be engaged, you want them to care about your brand, and you want a really good brand experience. So for that, you develop surface reality. So imagine the screen behind me. Only as I'm moving around, the screen's actually following my movement and creating visuals from my movement live. If you don't know what that looks like, I'd be happy to show you a video after. It makes a lot more sense if you see it. But in a similar way, like there's a camera here, you would be watching me and interpreting my movements to generate amazing visuals to get your clients engaged. So this can be used, of course, if you're presenting, I want you to pay attention to me. I want the background to support my presentation, so I'd have it up. But what if this is my venue, right? This is my company here. I want people to come in and have a really amazing experience. I can have it set up on a huge wall, right? So as you come in, the space is shaped around you, it's interacting to you, and you actually get people engaged. You get them taking videos, you get them posting on social media, you get them interacting with your brand in a new way. You just couldn't get them before.
Thank you.
I'd rather dance.
Can you tell he's a ballerina?
I'm a dancer. I also do.
Oh, wow.
I like acrobatics. I can do a handstand. I'd rather do a handstand for you. That's how you should come on. I should walk on my hands.
Okay, so what are some things that you really liked about his pitch? Raise your hand.
Eye contact.
Yeah, I like how you try to do the
I thought the eye contact was fantastic.
There's a crowded medium of advertising stuff, and you we're very great at making yours distinct.
I like his passion. He knew how to deliver his passion when he did it. That's what I like.
Yeah, I don't know if you were nervous, but you looked really calm to me, right? You looked pretty calm.
Yeah. Your voice doesn't sound that calm, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like a duck going across, or a swan going across a lake. They look calm, but then underneath they're going like this. And that's totally fine. That's great. And I know that one of the challenges for him, and you guys might have this if you have a technological kind of product, that his product is most easily understood when it's up on a video screen and you can see it. But in the pitch he's doing tomorrow, he does not have a screen to show his thing. So he has to use his words. I think he did a great job with that. And the next step kind of stuff is, in terms of content, I needed to get the cause a little bit more. Why are the other things not working?
Oh, like ad block, all those little stuff that
Yeah.
people to ignore your
Because I'm like,
ads.
I have PowerPoint. What's wrong with that? You know, like, why doesn't that stuff work? Really drive that home on a deeper level. And maybe you'll do that when you have more time. And then with the solution, everything was great, and then add in projections for later on. So this was, you'll have more engagement and more stuff on social media. Like, why does that matter? Like a year from now, 2 years from now, what is that going to actually add up to over time? Is that retention of my employees? Is that profit for my company? What does that actually equal for potential customers? I wasn't clear on really what I was going to get out of this as a unique solution. So those kind of things. And in terms of nonverbal, you were doing a lot of walking back and forth. So your next step is to practice being still. So go ahead and come forward all the way to the front. I know.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
What are the benefits and costs of him? Because he said, like in the welcome area of a company. What if he gave an example of like a company, like a law firm or something? Or there's costs to being specific, because that might not bring in the imagination as much.
Yeah, I think, in a real situation, you'd have a little bit more time, and you'd add in more supporting evidence, like an example like that.
Yeah,
I think
Salesforce, amazing lobby thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like you're gonna have 10 minutes tomorrow?
Yeah, it's like a discussion.
Yeah, but you'll have more time. I'm sort of being short now because we're running a little late, so I'm trying to hone you in. And I think right now, just to focus on clearly what the problem, the cause, the solution is, and the statements. You can always support it more later. Let's just have you do the problem section from here into the cause, because those are the two that we want to bring forward a little bit more. So just the problem and the cause section, really crystal clear and simple.
Okay. The problem is it's really hard to engage your consumers, your clients. The problem is it's really hard to engage your consumers and your clients and to get them to notice you over all the noise, all the competitors, everybody fighting for their attention. The cause is we're in the 21st century. There's so much high tech all over us. There's a phone fighting for attention. There's that display. There's this person, and it's really hard to get people engaged unless you're offering them something novel, like a new experience, an amazing brand experience that they're going to like so much. They want to take a video of, they want to share it on social media, they want to send their friends, and they want to trust and love your brand because of that experience.
Yay, thank you. Find that time. What was different the last time, the second time, guys?
Much more succinct.
Yeah.
Did you have something to say something?
It's crystal clear this time.
Yeah. Was there somebody over here?
He seems more confident the second time.
Yeah, I think the nonverbal is working for you too. Next step would be to move on purpose on stage, but start by getting rooted.
Rooted.
Yeah, I think for tomorrow, just stand still. Let's give him a big round of applause. Did you get some value on it today?
Yes.
Something new?
Yes.
You have amazing products and services and expertise, right? Yes. Do you believe you're an expert now?
Yes.
All right. So now that you really have got that, you have some tools to communicate that more clearly. And the work now is to get out there and use it and to speak, to take any opportunity to share your message. Are you up for that?
Yes.
Okay, there were some half-assed things. I really want you to take your because it comes down to you speaking and communicating clearly. So you have to put this into action. For those of you who are out there in the world speaking to grow your business, speaking to pitch your work, It really comes down to you being able to communicate clearly. If you want to inspire your audience to action, if you want to feel confident and comfortable in your skin doing that, let's talk. I'd like to offer you a complimentary Speak to Inspire strategy session. This is a time one-on-one to chat with me, give you a little bit of feedback about what I saw today. We can go over the broad strokes of your pitch and see what the next step is for you. Because as you've seen today from our just two people up here, there's a lot more beyond just the content. Yes?
Yes.
There's what people are actually responding to is that performance presence. That leadership presence, that's a pretty hip word these days, right? Oh, executive presence, they usually call it, yeah. So how can you grow into that next level speaker and thought leader that people say, have my money, let's make it happen? You're gonna either go to this link right here, or I put a clipboard out on the table, out on the table by the front door with my cards there. You put your name, your email address, and your phone number there. I'll send you an email with a link to my online calendar. So whichever works for you. This you have to fill in a little bit of an intake form when you go there, so you don't have time for it now. You just put your name there. Now here's the thing, guys, before you run away. Christmas is coming up, right, or holiday time, and I only have so many slots before I run off and spend time with my family. So I have 10 slots for this group, just 10 slots. So if you know this is for you, if you know you need that next step, if you're struggling to clarify your ideas, you're still in that overwhelm mode of how to translate from tech language into human language that anybody can understand, then make sure to sign up as quickly as you can and get on my calendar. Okay, thanks guys. Give yourself a round. I'll be here for a few minutes to answer questions.